But what the problem was, my mom was pissed off for 10 years. Because financially, my parents were struggling. I never knew it as a kid. How many of you guys didn't grow up rich? Okay. See, I didn't grow up rich. My parents, we always had everything we wanted, and I never realized that that was all that sacrifice. And when I turned 18 years old, I remember my mom and dad saying, hey, we're moving. I said, well, why are we moving? And they said, well, we're moving because we're just going to move. I found out later the moving was bankruptcy and losing the home, and that's why we moved. And my dad had landed in this company because a girl in his youth group called him that he hadn't seen in 12 years and said, hey, Pastor Jay, I don't know if you remember me, but my name's Ann Hurley, and I used to be in your youth group. And my dad said, of course I remember you. She said, hey, I just got started in this company, and I was hoping you could come down to this meeting and help me out. And my dad said, well, what is it? Is it Primerica? And she said, no, it's nothing to do with Primerica. And my dad, to the day he showed up, he swore it was Primerica. And he said, I'm not joining anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care how good it is. I'm not joining it. I'm done. I've tried it all. I'm not doing it anymore. How many of you guys have ever been to that point in life where you said, man, I've tried it all? Yeah, that was my dad. My dad walked into a meeting, he sat in the BPM, and at the end of the day, he pulled out his credit card and he joined the company. And that was his first phone call, and I had just lost my job. And my mom told me, she said, hey, your dad started this thing, he's going to call you to go to this meeting. And my wife goes, you ain't going to anything your dad's doing. Because my dad had done it all. I'm talking full on. He had a chart one time on the wall. It was a pyramid. And it was like the 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. The guy at the top got 10. And my dad actually cashed out one time and got 10 grand. And I found out later he paid for like half the spots himself. But he had done everything. So my dad calls me one time, I didn't go to the meeting. He called me 2 times, I didn't go to the meeting. He called me 3 times, I finally showed up. Now let that be a lesson to you. How many times have you called?
Yeah.
I hope you've called and continued to invite. I hope you didn't just write it off the first time. My dad called me 3 separate meetings, 3 separate weeks. And I finally came to the meeting. You want to know what happened when I walked in the meeting that day? I said, you know what? I don't know what the heck this is, and my wife doesn't know I'm here, but I ain't joining anything. I sat in the meeting. At the end, my dad walked me over, he did an interview. The BPM was terrible. It was like, I sat down, I remember saying, still don't know what you guys do. And the guy did a follow-up interview, and I said, I don't know what the heck you want me for. I said, I don't know anything about this stuff. And my dad said, hey, I'll pay for your stuff, let's do it together. And that was the beginning of my career. That was 6 years ago. 6 years later, to this day, the company, that $100 that my dad paid, not me, has paid me over $1 million in commission. Wow. And all because I was stupid enough to show up to the meeting. You realize that? I went from with the fire department, 6 months in, I went full time. We hit our $100,000 ring in like 15 months. It wasn't fast. I opened my own office by myself at 23 years old. We started with 5 people. That was 5 years ago. Today we have 149 people going to Vegas.
Nice.
And the company will pay me $75,000 this month. And I went from wanting to make $3 grand a month to what the fire department was paying me a month, I was making a week, and now what the fire department was paying me a year, we're making a month. And it was all because of this company. You guys realize that? You would have never prospected me. I'm going to show you proof. You have the pictures? Okay, that was 2006. Okay, how many guys can see from wherever you're sitting? Okay, I'll give you a better one. Go to the next one. You would have never prospected me. I promise you. And my lesson that I want you to learn is the fact that you can keep going. Okay, that was me when I got invited to the meeting.
Davenport would have prospected.
How many guys would have prospected me? See, you're in the wrong market. You're prospecting in the wrong market. Okay, keep going. When I started in the business, that's what I looked like when I showed up to the BPM. That on the left, that was me getting closer to business. So they said you got to cut your hair. And so that was me cutting my hair. 5 years ago, we opened the office, and it looked like that. We had plastic black chairs.
Wow.
We actually changed the chairs only because we had this 420-pound dude who came to the meeting one day. I'm doing the BPM, pointing at the board, and I just hear this explosion. And I turn around, the dude's on the ground, and the chair like shattered. I kid you not, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get a lawsuit. So we went out and we bought 50 chairs at like $50 each. It was It was painful. But that was literally how we started. Keep going. You keep going. That was SMD meeting. That was my team 2 years ago. You keep going. That was our team in Vegas. We had at Wealth Bowl this year. And now we're at, so you can keep going. Oh, let me show you that one real fast. Okay? This is everyone who was on my team that 2 years ago picture. They all quit. They all quit. And let me tell you why I put that up there. It says, stick around and tell stories or become a story. Not everyone who starts with you will finish with you. It's part of the process. See, so many people quit in their business because people don't support them. How do you expect people to support you? Most of those people can't support themselves. And you're expecting them to support you in business. And there was a day where I woke up and my whole team was gone. I was like, all right, well, guess what? We get to start over. Right. See, the Bible says a pruning is painful, right? Yeah. Sometimes your business requires some pruning. Yeah. See, I had so much drama in my business at one point, and I realized it's because I needed to grow. Yes. Yeah. And there's a time in your career where you got to be able to tell the difference between your Judas and your Peter. You know what I mean? Right. And there was a time when I said, all right, that's it. We're just gonna start all over. We're gonna get a clean slate. And so I put that picture up, and that had 19,000 likes on Instagram, like 700 comments. And I'll tell you why. Half the people are ones that still follow me that they had a red X over their face. I got so much hate mail in my mailbox of people that were so mad and so offended, yet they're the ones who quit and gave up on me and gave up on themselves. Keep going. That's in Vegas this last year. Wow. Keep going. And that was our team a couple weeks ago. Woo! And I'll tell you something, and it just keeps getting better. In January, 6 months ago, we had 40 people coming to the meeting, and today we had over 100 people in the building. Wow. We literally don't fit anymore. And I'm going to give you a couple points on how to get to that and how we did it. I want to tell you something, though. He talked about how you got to enjoy the process. You realize the process was very painful for us, but it was only 6 years. Come on now. If you leave here because it don't work in 6 months, where are you gonna go? Yeah. What other options do you have? See, this was my lottery ticket. Like I wasn't gonna get a contract in the NBA. Okay, first of all, I'm white. That's like 75% of my problem. And secondly, I can't jump. That comes with, you know what I mean? And I wasn't gonna be Drake. And I sure as heck wasn't going to be Eminem. So what am I going to do? Like, I cannot imagine what my life would have looked like had I not ended up here. I can't imagine. I would be so average. So average. Keep going, brother. I want to show you guys something. You saw that first car. I don't know if you saw it earlier. We just promoted our first SMD. Awesome. And let me tell you something, brother. He's been qualified for 14 months. Wow. Okay, just took his first promotion. We make sure we do it right. Keep going. And I remember when I needed to make $3,000 a month, and that's our life now. We just celebrated 8 years of being married, which honestly, I don't know if that had happened if we didn't end up in this company. Because I remember when money was an issue, man, it was rough. It was rough. You know, I come from a family where no one's ever divorced. Not my aunts, uncles, my cousins, my grandparents, nobody. I've never seen my parents even argue. I've never even seen my dad get frustrated with my mom. I'm sure they do, but they just never did it in front of us. My wife comes from a family where no one's ever stayed married. It's the complete opposite. And so when we got together, I was like, oh God. And she's like, oh, I got a chance. You know what I mean? It's like, it was so different. And now, you know, when I married my wife, she had never driven a new car once. She didn't even know what a new car smelled like. She grew up on welfare and food stamps. And then now, like, I mean, we just picked up, that's a $160,000 car. I don't tell you that for any reason other than I want you to see contrast. You saw the before picture, right? Look, guys, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And the problem with success today, the reason so many people in our company, specifically and everywhere, but I'm talking about this company, don't win is because of the fact that commitment, true commitment, is such a rare thing today. Like you look in every area, not just in business. Look at relationships. Yeah. Look at the divorce rate. Look at people in their walk with God and their faith. They're tithing. Everywhere you look, it's so rare. It's an endangered thing now. It's true commitment. And people get in business and expect to win overnight. It doesn't work like that. The very same reason people start is the same reason they quit. Identical. I'll tell you a story. I have a guy, his name's Robert. He comes on the team. He calls me, Jay, I want in. I'm like, you want into what? He's like, I want to join tenacity. I'm like, okay, why? He's like, I'm working too many hours at my job. I'm miserable. I never see my wife. I never see my kids. I hate my job. My boss is a jerk. I don't get paid enough. I haven't had a raise in 5-10 years. Right? He's like, I need an opportunity. He starts. 30 days later, he calls me, Jay, I'm out. I'm like, what do you mean you're out, bro? You never started. And he's like, I'm out. I was like, why? He goes, because I work too many hours. I hate my job. I haven't got a pay raise in 5-10 years. I never see my wife. I never see my kids. The exact same reason he started. You want to know why? He started just like a lot of you. And then you realize it's not as easy as you thought it'd be. And it gets a little bit hard. And someone says no. And someone doesn't show up. And then you go, oh, maybe it's not for me. And you failed your test. And then you're like, I failed my test. It's a sign from God. And then, no, it's not a sign from God to quit. It's a sign from God to study.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You got to find, look, guys, this thing's so worth it. Look what my wife said. This was on her Instagram. She said, still the beginning of the story, but thank you for chasing dreams and hunting down goals with me. You know how much fun that is? To do it with your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, it's fun single too. I got some single guys that tell you it's more fun single. But at the end of the day, you got to get in the game.
Yeah.
You got to get in the game. I'm going to give you a couple of things that I think maybe will help you, maybe not. I want to tell you those. At the end of the day, what your coach says goes. That's it. What I say doesn't matter. Can we all agree to that?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my version, but what he says goes. Okay, raise your hand. Say, at the end of the day, come on, raise your hand. Some of you ain't going to raise your hand no matter what I tell you. It's cool. It's cool. I can tell you're broke, by the way, by your enthusiasm. I can tell right away you ain't winning here because you look like you just got ran over by a car on your way in. So I want you to raise your hand and say, well, my coach says goes.
My coach says goes.
All right, perfect. So then with that, can I talk to you like you're an SMD?
Yes, sir.
Or you want the fluffy stuff?
No fluff.
Okay.
No fluff.
Because it wasn't
Got enough.
easy. It wasn't easy. But you want to know something? That's why it's so much fun. The rejection and the no and the process, like he talked about, is what makes it so much fun. How much fun would it be really if everyone said yes? Would it be fun? Maybe for like 2 days. And then at the end of the day, it would lose its fun. Guys, you want to know the cool thing about making $500,000 a year? Is doing it when you're 29, not like 99. Like if you're already old, you're supposed to be rich by now. What have you been doing for 50 years? It's cool to do it young. You know what I mean? Yeah, you said you want the real stuff. It's cool to do it young. When I walk into Mercedes and they go, and the sales guy comes over and says, hey, what team do you play for? I'm like, what team do I play for? What do you mean? Like where I grew up, they're like, hey, who are you banging for? It was so different. You know, money's different. Because he saw the ring, and I guess I'm kind of tall. But and then he goes, I said, oh, what do you? I said, I don't play a sport. He goes, oh. He goes, because those are the guys at your age who usually buy those cars. But that's what's cool. No one by the way, money ain't everything. But it's way up there. Like it's up there. Like money prints your Bibles, money pays your pastors, money funds your missionaries. Right? And if you don't like your job, you're living for money. Because you get up every day and go to work and you hate your job, you wouldn't do it for free. You're only doing it for a paycheck.
Well.
So for you, money's what? Everything. It really is. Like, guys, he said, who do you play for? I said, I don't play for anybody. I said, like, we play for ourselves. We built a company. Now, by the way, he's joining the team on Tuesday. I said, we built a company where, actually, we've only bought that thing because we need a tax write-off.
Nice.
Our CPA said, hey, you're going to owe $60,000 if you don't get a $150,000 tax write-off. I said, what do I buy? And he said, you like the G-Wagon? I said, my wife does. And that was it. That's our house now, by the way.
Hey.
Yeah, you can go back to that. There's Uncle Chip. You know him. Getting ready for a big event. You can go. You just scroll to the end. So that's our house now. And you want to know what's crazy? My wife grew up with bars on the window. And now, like, we don't even have curtains. I moved in the house and I'm like, where's the freaking curtains? There's not even hooks for them. And the realtor's like, oh, rich people don't put curtains
That's
on the window.
good.
I'm like, dude, I ain't rich. And I grew up in the hood. We need curtains. But, I mean, guys, it's so much fun. It's so much fun to win. You realize that? It's fun to win. It really is. It's fun to win, and it's fun to teach people how to win.
Yeah.
And for a lot of you, that's what you're not doing. Is you may be winning, but who are you teaching? Like the coolest part about him going around speaking is the fact that he's telling his story, how he got there. There's so many people. No one ever knocked on my parents' door and said, hey, let us teach you how to retire.
There you go.
Hey, let us teach you how to send your kid through college. And they don't have to have debt for the rest of their lives. No one ever did that. So I'm going to give you a couple points on how we got there. And I hope that they benefit you. And I want to tell you, though, at the end of the day, you guys got great leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership. I'll say no to probably 30 or 40 speaking things this year. But this guy, I love this dude. When I saw him get on stage, I was like, that is a good freaking dude. And Eric Olson loves this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, that's why I said yes. He messaged me, and I was like, oh, man. And then I actually messaged Mario Bayona, who's one of my best friends, and I was like, hey, should I go? Should I not? He said, oh, that's a good dude. You have to go. Right? And that's why we're here. And you got leadership that's hungry. They're in the game. They're committed. They're sold out. And the biggest one is they do it right.
Yeah.
They do it right. They play by the rules. They play clean. That's not common everywhere. And they got a great reputation. And they're growing in the company with good relationships. Guys, you guys realize that? You're in the right spot. But you could be on the right team and never have to wash your jersey, never get in the game. Right? Every day you go home, you just hang it right back up because you ain't never played. You could be on a winning team and never score a point, never have an assist. You just happen to be there, but at the end of the day, no one knows who you are. You guys realize that? This team can win with or without you.
Yeah.
You want to win, or you want to just be on a winning team?
Win.
You gotta win. Like, enough about them. Why not you? Let me ask you a question. This may kind of hurt. How come when I think of this team, I know them, but I don't know anyone on the team? How come when I think about the team, I couldn't name you one name on the team? You want to know the coolest thing about LeBron going to the Lakers? Is it's LeBron's team now. You want to know the coolest thing? Is his name's on the team now. Now the team has an identity. Whose name's going to come up in this team?
There you go.
This is your chance for this to become your team.
Yeah.
You realize that? It's not about them anymore. Forget them for a second. What about you? You know what I mean? You can go to Vegas and no one knows your name. Oh, and trust me, you're in a powerful hierarchy. So you could go to a breakout meeting and no one knows your name. Like you are in a really big pond. Like the big fish, little pond thing doesn't work inside the Pinnacle.
No.
That may work on other hierarchies. That don't work in Pinnacle. Okay, so you got to get up there. We're now ranked number 22 in the whole company. Nice. We're at like 960, almost 1 million, and that's like only 2 cycles into the month. And we started from nothing. I remember when we weren't even in the 10,000. And we just climb. Last month we were 25. This month we're 22. You got to do that. If I could do it, you could do it. I'll tell you something. I bet you something's true. How many of you guys know how to prospect? Raise your hand. Okay, how many know how to make a phone call? How many know how to answer a stupid question like, is it Primerica? Okay. How many of you guys know how to flip a flip chart or do whatever you do with the client? How many of you could write an IUL? How many of you could sell a term? How many of you could recruit? Okay, let me ask you something. Why didn't I see you in Hawaii? You know how to do everything. Why didn't I see you on the trip? I bet you don't have a skill set problem. You probably have a work ethic problem.
Yep.
You're probably comfortable. I had a doctor that I prospected. She came in, she did a stress test for me. I was like, well, I'm not stressed. She did a stress test for me. My stress level was like here. And she's like, the thing is that you're just comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. You're comfortable being stressed out. That's what an entrepreneur's paranoia. I was like, I never even realized it. What's it feel like to not be stressed? I was like, I don't ever want to feel that. Because that will mean I'm no longer in business. I bet you have a work ethic problem. You just need to want it more. I'm going to give you a couple of things. Number one, you got to know why you actually started here. What did you start for? What are you working towards? We did, I'll give you our track. First year we made 40 grand, second year 79, third year 139, fourth year 179, then 212, and this year we'll do about 400. We'll hit $500,000 on a 12-month basis. And it started at, my first check was $47. How many of you guys had a bigger first check than that? Bigger than $47? Look, see, you're already ahead. I think you just got to get clear on what you're actually working towards. For me, I remember what it's like to watch my wife stress trying to pay the bills. That's a terrible feeling. To watch your spouse stress out about, I don't know if we're going to be able to pay the bills. And for me, that alone, I remember that feeling, so I never have to go back to that place. How many of you guys know what it's like to be broke? Either you're broke or you're broke now. We won't identify which one is true. But you know what it's like? I remember it. It sucks. Doesn't it? Look, so to me, prospecting is way less scary than going back to being broke. To me, it's more scary to not be able to pay my bills than it is for someone to tell me no. But I'm clear on what I'm working towards. Number two, you got to have some short-term goals. What are you chasing? See, you got to be chasing something. You want to know what happens if you're not chasing something? That means you're running from stuff. That means you're running from bills. I'll give you an example. Money is the root of all what?
Evil.
Okay, how come you know that?
You heard it a million times.
And it's actually not true, right? What's the real saying?
The love.
Right? Money doesn't grow on trees. See, all those things that we know, guys. Man, I was so taught to stay middle class. And you want to know, it's crazy to me that you go to high school and they teach you how to become an employee. They teach you how to make a resume, not a business plan.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that they literally condition you to go work for someone else. It's crazy to me when I meet someone with a business degree, but they don't own a business. I'm like, you got a business degree, but you work for someone else's company. How does that make any sense? It's crazy to me that people come in WFG and never get anywhere. I had a guy tell me, how come I have to pay $100 to join the company? I said, honestly, bro, I think that's the biggest problem with the company. I agree with you. He's like, yeah. I said, yeah, I think it should cost 10 grand. And he's like, I said, yeah, this thing's, it should cost you 10 grand to get in this company. That's the problem with it. And he's like, point taken. How do I start? I believe in this thing so much. You got to sell out. You really got to sell out. And you got to sell out by starting to have some short-term goals, something you're working towards. What are you chasing right now? Like for me, I'm chasing my $500,000 ring. But I remember when I was chasing my first comma check. Right? A check with a comma. Right. So what are you chasing right now? Or are you literally just taking up a seat in the meeting? And you've never decided to sell out and go on. How many of you guys watched the Mayweather-McGregor fight? Yeah. Okay, did McGregor leave it all in the ring? Oh man, he did his absolute 100% best. And at the end of the day, he won big time. How many of you guys have watched his documentary? You should watch his documentary. 8 months before that, he was sleeping on his mom's couch, broke. And he left 100% there. He said, man, you should have let the guy really knock me out. Whether or not, whatever. He lost, so I would have said that too, probably. But he said, you should have let the guy knock me out. He said, I wasn't delusional, I was so tired. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you were that tired?
Yeah.
I heard someone outside right now say, I'm so tired because I have insomnia. Someone said that, right? I'm like, dude, I almost corrected him. You don't have insomnia. You just are freaking lazy. You don't have insomnia. You just don't work. If you ran 10 appointments today, prospected 5 people, and wrote 6 policies, you'd sleep really well. You'd be so tired when your head hit the pillow, you're out. Okay, you got to know what you're chasing after, guys. I love this company because I've never gotten bored because I'm always chasing something new. Just like he said, the process is where you're going to spend your time, not the destination, right? Because once you get there, you start all over. Okay, number 3, you got to focus on the main thing. What's the main thing here? The main thing's not you sitting around reading books all day. The main thing's not you sitting around Instagramming all day. The main thing is what? What do we get paid to do here? Recruit, fast start, and field train. That's it. That's the whole system. Recruit, fast start, field train. Pastor Ewing starts with me today. We do orientation. We go in the field. We help some families. That's it. That's the whole business. You got to simplify it. How do we go from 40 to 140 in 7 months? That's it. Recruit, fast start, field train. So many times we overcomplicate this thing. People are like, oh, I need to read. How many more books you need to read? Like how many more podcasts you got to listen to before you just do something?
Right.
Like I tell my team, I don't want to see you reading no books in the middle of the day. I want you reading books in audio while you're driving. I want you reading books while you're in the gym lifting weights. I want you reading books while you're in bed before you go to sleep, but not in the middle of the day when you're supposed to be recruiting and sitting with clients. I'm thankful that my dad wasn't at home reading a book. Instead, he decided to call me. Mm-hmm. And that phone call changed my whole life. Wow. You know what it pays to override me? $300,000 a year to sit at home right now after 6 years. Wow. If you recruit me, they pay you $25,000 a month. Whether you get out of bed or not. So imagine if my dad was like, I need to read this system manual first. Are you getting what I'm saying? Focus on the main thing. Okay, next, number 4, you got to compete. You got to compete. It should piss you off if you don't get to come on stage. I want to go on stage and I don't even fit on stage. And I'm 5'9". Okay, it should make you mad. He said he's 5'9". I'm standing in the back like, oh, I'm screwed. He's 5'9", I'm 6'4". But that's not going to work. It should make you mad. Guys, it should make you mad that you're not winning. Winning's a habit. So's losing.
Yes.
It should really make you mad that you're not winning. And you justify like, well, I'm not winning because I'm not trying. You guys ever played one-on-one with someone? And they're like, oh, I didn't even try.
Right.
You're like, uh-huh. Guys, what are you doing here if you're not trying? I know you're trying. Or maybe you're not trying. It should make you mad if you don't win. Competition drives me more than anything. How many guys are competitive?
Yep.
There's a difference, though, between being competitive and the guy who can't sleep at night unless he's winning. Like, if you're not putting in the effort and you're like, well, my spouse doesn't support me. Why don't they support you? Let's see your cash flow. We'll find out why they don't support you real quick. I wouldn't support you either. You're coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning. You ain't got paid in 6 months. I'm like, well, what's really going on here? What kind of field training are we doing? I ain't seen a check in 6 months. Spousal support can be purchased with commission checks. Yeah. I bet you the company's paying you $50,000 a month. Your wife's not unsupportive. Your husband's not unsupportive. You're getting paid $5,000-$10,000 a month. They love WFG. My wife, if I'm at home at 5 o'clock at night for home cooked dinner, we don't do home cooked dinners. She's like, what the heck are you doing home? Why are you home? It's 5 o'clock. Everyone who's an employee is at home waiting for someone to sell them some policies right now. Why are you at home? Okay, you got to get in the game. You got to compete. Who's number 1 in the room?
I am.
You are?
No, you ain't.
I've seen the rankings. I know he's number 1 in production. Let me ask you a question. Who's the flag carrier for this team? Who's the flag carrier?
Antonio.
Why Antonio? Why not you? You ain't ever going to walk in Dan's room and be like, who's the flag carrier? I'm going to be like, Paul Ireton. Screw Paul Ireton. Like, we're killing Paul Ireton, by the way, just so you know.
There you go.
Like, you should be the flag carrier. And by the way, there's one flag carrier in an army. One big one in the front. You don't see 1,000 little flags.
Right.
That's not how it works. Look, this is your chance to step up, get competitive, and start winning. Start winning. Start getting paid. Make your money back. What you spent on your license. Get out of your job. This is a chance for you to fire your boss before your boss fires you. You can actually make something happen here, guys. You can really do that, but you got to compete. Stop losing. Okay, you got to stop losing. You got to man up and say, you know what? I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna actually go all in. I'm gonna make something happen. I'm gonna become number 1. I'm gonna build something for myself. I'm gonna push my coach all the way to the top. Oh man, Dan. I told Dan one time we were getting on the plane. Dan's like, hey, say hi to Jay. His kids. I was like, hey, what's up, man? I said, hey, you remember me? I'm paying for your college.
Yeah.
I kept walking to my seat.
That's good.
And he's
That's
like,
good.
Dan turns around, he's like that? Because, hey, look, your coach should love you when you call to the answer the phone. Or they're like, oh, this is my number one. Or they're like, oh, God, what do they want? We got both, by the way. Yes or no?
Yeah.
We got both. Okay? And so you got to compete. You got to start winning. Can we start winning?
Yeah.
No, seriously, raise your hand if you're like, I'm going to start winning. Like, I'm going to actually try.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah, actually try. Number 5, you got to get better. You got to get better. Look, the difference, guys, between us now and us 5 years ago is we're so much better. That's all it is. We spend a lot of time on ourselves. There was a time in my career when everyone always quit. And I always blamed it like this. Some of you guys know how this goes. You go, oh, well, they just don't have it. They're just lazy. Oh, they just didn't want it bad enough. Oh, they just don't have mental toughness. Oh, they're employee mindset. And finally, one day I said, you know what, maybe it's me. Maybe it's my fault. I mean, if I get 100 guys, there's no way that 100 guys and 100 gals are all lazy.
Right.
Maybe it's me. You know what I mean?